All right, let's see how we can create an API endpoint for getting a collection of objects. So here in the app folder, let's add a new folder called API. Now, this is not required, but it's a very common convention to follow. Now, under API, we can have various endpoints like users, posts, and so on. So let's create a new folder called users. Now, so far, we have been adding page files in these folders, but now we're going to add a route file. So in a given folder or URL segment, we can either have a page file or a route file, but not both. If you want to show something to the user, if you want to return markup or HTML content, we use a page file. But otherwise, if you want to handle HTTP requests, we should add a route file. Now, in this file, we create one or more route handlers. A route handler is a function that handles an HTTP request. Now, HTTP requests have various methods. They can be get for getting data, post for creating data, put for updating data, and so on. We're going to talk about these methods as we go through this section. For now, we're going to talk about get requests. So here we should export a function called get, all in uppercase, that takes a request object of type next request that is defined in next/server package. So in this function, we receive a request and return a response. Okay. Now in a real application, we're going to fetch users from a database, but we're going to talk about databases in the future. So for now, let's just hard code some data. So here we return next response, which is defined in next/server package as well. We call the JSON method. Now here we can return any kind of object. We can return a simple message like hello. Now, if we hit /API/users, we see a basic string, but we can also return an object. So let's return an array of user objects. Let's say each user has two properties, ID and name. So Mosh and John with a different ID. Now refresh. Here's what we get. So if we have a client component or a mobile app hitting this endpoint, they will see this raw data as JSON. Then they will decide how to render this. So this is how we can create an endpoint for returning a collection of objects. Now, in this function, this request parameter is not used, so we can remove it. However, if we remove it, Next.js will cache the result of this response. So next time we hit this endpoint, we're going to see cached data. To prevent caching, we have to add this request object.